Hey everybody, and welcome to a Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house. As always, we're going to have a lot of fun. PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, and much more. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, we're going to talk about Richard Hart, a champion for DeFi crypto. So it's going to be a lot of fun too. Definitely smash the likes on the way in. Smash the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And yeah, definitely share the channel around. That helps a lot. If you want to become a member of the channel, of course, hit the join button. We've got PulseKins, Hexkins, and Richard Hart Club memberships. Help support the channel, get some cool emojis and live chat and stuff like that. And, of course, get into our free Discord, best information and, of course, best community. So grab that. That link is in the video description. We're heading up towards 1,100 members, very close to it, actually. So it's pretty exciting. Let's see who's in the house. Make sure that the sound is up and running. Let's go. Yeah, sounds looks good to me. So we're going to get into it. How we are. We got Rango in the house there. Hey, Rango, good to see you. Let's go, 100%. And, of course, how is everybody today? I think pretty good. I think people are pretty good. We've got Sandy Beach in the house there. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Harry Williams as well. Yo. Good to see you. And Genuine, good morning all. Good to see you, Genuine. And who else is there? Check my pulse. LFG Hexaco. Nice ETH pump today. And so it begins, the 2023, the year of PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, the highest of stakes, and, of course, the Heart wallet as well. Whoa. The future is so bright. The future is now. I like that. Nice one. Check my pulse. You're definitely on the pulse of it. That's for sure. What else we got going? We've got a few others in the house here. We've got Wookie. Your favorite Jedi is here. The Wookie is here. Good to see you, Wookie. And, of course, Archipelago. Hi, all. Good to see Archipelago. Smash those likes on the way in. Definitely do that. Sandy Beach is doing a shout out to everybody. Good to see you, Sandy. And check my pulse is feeling very bullish. Perfect storm is brewing. I think so. I think things are turning out to be a lot better than we would expect this time of year. So very, very exciting. We're going to talk about a few of the little hurdles, but apart from that, I think it's looking pretty good. Scott Jackson said, good morning, all. Another great day in paradise. Indeed. Honey Drippers in the house there. Hex Token channel member. Love the channel. I appreciate that. And thank you very much for your support as always. And then, of course, we've got DG in the house there. Trump's speech soon. Yeah, what a terrible injustice that is. Misdemeanor. In New York, they let half the misdemeanors. They downgrade all the misdemeanors and then they let them go. But here they do, 32 of the same kind of misdemeanors just to make a political, try to attack their political enemies. You think we're in communist China or something? Pretty scary stuff. So hopefully that's all going to end up on the right side. What else there? Get Anita's in the house there. Good morning, team. Good morning to you. Danu in the house says, woohoo, just in time. Danu in the house. Hello, Superman and all Hexkins. Happy to be here. Let's rumble. Carumble. I like that. That's a nice little rhyme there, Danu. Who else has jumped in here? We got Dave down under. Are we another day closer, Superman? We are one more day closer. That's for sure, Dave. Great to see you in the chat. And Drix is in the house as well. Hey, Drix, good to see you. And I like the Superman strong arm. Very, very cool. Big shout out to Drix there. Woohoo! And we've got Big Bully as well. Big Bully, haven't seen you for a while, Big Bully. Good to see you, Big Bully. Welcome to you as well. Let's get into it, folks. We're going to start with the stock market, get into crypto. Anita's just giving out some memberships. Just when I was going to get started and ramping up there, we got a Get Hex there, gifted one Hex token membership, and that's gone to Archipelago. Don't know why it's not showing up in my studio, but that's definitely a big shout out to Anita for giving that away, and congratulations, Archipelago, on the Hex membership. Very, very nice indeed. Not sure why it's not showing in my studio, but hey, that's all good. Pulse Bezos in the house there. Hey, good evening. Good evening to you as well. Very, very excited about that. Let's get into it, folks. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Was that Marvin Gaye? Get it on. Something like that. I don't think that's what we're talking about, but hey. So we've got stock market today. Dow ends lower as weak industrials and, of course, fresh bank jitters a bite. And, of course, I think mostly the bank jitters are sort of tame for the time being. They probably definitely rear their ugly head later on in the year. Industrials are weaker though. Let's have a look here. And of course, the Dow Jones, we've got that down 0.6%, 200 points, down to 33,400. That's the top 30 industrials, remember. And of course, the S&P 500 down 0.6%, 24 points to 4,100. S&P and all the tech companies in the NASDAQ there down 0.5%, 63 points, down 12,126 on the NASDAQ. So a bit of a down day. After yesterday was a really good day, right? So a bit of volatility there. Volatility index is up 2.43% to 19. The US dollar is down actually a little bit. And of course, that's down 0.5% to 101.26. So that is where the dollar is. Let's have a look at the commodities. We've got oil there, slightly higher again today here, up 33 cents to $85, so up about 0.4%. West Texas up about 1/3%, 25 cents to $80.96. So that's where oil is. Let's have a look at gold. Gold powering ahead. Woohoo! Gold up there, up $1.20, and it's up $2,039. And I think that's pretty much a new high here. So go to the max on the gold. Look at that. History, folks. We're in history here. Gold moving to a new all-time high. Wow, wow, wow. That's amazing. New all-time high on gold. Look at that over the max period here. Goes all the way back here to 1975. Wow, that's impressive. So history on the Hex Token channel. Gold is on the ascendancy. Silver there up is also trying to move into the resistance zone. Silver $24 to $28. That is up to $25.17. That's a nice little move. We can see silver here on a different trajectory has all-time high. It says here is $48.60. But compared to gold, wow, gold's really making breaking new ground there. So let's get into the commentary. Dow Jones closed a lower Tuesday as a slump in industrials and a wobble in the banks amid fresh jitters that the banking turmoil isn't over. Just weighed on investor sentiment there. This is what stock market's like, right? It gets like this with this kind of volatility. Regional banks, including Zions Bank Corporation, First Republic Bank, and Comerica, led the sell-off in financials as J.P. Morgan, these good old investment bank manipulators, J.P. Morgan, chief executive, warned that the banking crisis was far from over and the impact of the turmoil in the sector was likely to reverberate for years. Boy, that's a bit scary. That's the last bit there. The warning arrived just as data showed job openings fell more than expected last month. So now we're starting to get more cracks in the, I guess, the labor market, which is what the Fed's looking for, right? Trading inflation for employment, adding to concerns about the economy, just as Federal Reserve members continue to call for higher rates. And we've got some of those still calling for higher rates. They're trying to get that inflation down. So that's where they're here. The U.S. Labor Department's latest job openings and labor turnover survey, or JOLTS report, a measure of labor demand, showed job openings in February fell to about 9.9 million, missing expectations of 10.4 million. So that's a big crack in the labor market there. Industrials, meanwhile, was also a big drag on the broader market, paced by a decline in Caterpillar and United Rentals after Bayard downgraded the stocks to underperform. We'll probably see more of that happening later in the year. Bard said both companies will likely see a dent in building activity as the banking turmoil and regional banks, which account for 70% of commercial real estate loans, leads to reduced lending activity. So let's read that again because that's pretty important there. We'll likely see a dent in building activity as banking turmoils and regional banks, which account for 70% of the commercial real estate loans. So obviously finance, building, going together, right? So contraction in finance, contraction in buildings, yeah, all cascades to each other, particularly impacting the stock market far more, of course. Leads to reduced lending activity. Energy, meanwhile, gave up gains from a day earlier as oil prices, as investors focused, shifted to the impact of a slowing global economy on crude demand. So that's pretty much it. But we have got summer coming up for the US, so we'll see how that goes with the demand. People love driving in the US, don't they? And like filling up their car. So we'll see how that gets on there. All right, so that is the stock market. Let's get into crypto. Pivoting into that. So a bit of a down day for stock market, but crypto is holding up pretty well. If you think about it, here's Bitcoin at the moment. This is on Coin Paprika. We've moved from nomics.com since nomics.com closed down. Shock, horror, and worldwide catastrophe. But anyway, that's a shame because this is a really nice user interface as well. Bitcoin there, number one, $28,150, up 1.1% on 24-hour basis, up 3% on the week. Ethereum there is up 2.8%, up to 1864. That's a pretty nice move, up 5% for the week on Ethereum. And of course, I'm pretty bullish on the Ethereum Shanghai fork, right? Coming up on the 12th, so that's a week away. So I'm pretty bullish on that, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see. Oh, Wookie's got his membership for 5 months up, and he's posted the Discord link. Nice one there, Wookie. And super, super cool on the support of the channel. Very, very nice. So that's kind of cool. What else there? We've got Binance Coin is up 1/3%, up to $310. XRP there is up 1.6% to 50 cents, and Hex sitting at number 7, folks. 7.8 cents it says here, at up 0.2%. There's a hold. Hex is holding pretty much an holding pattern, isn't it? And it's up 1.55% for the week. That is where Hex is at on Paprika. Now, Cardano's number 8 is up just a tad as well, up to 38.9 cents, followed by number 9, Dogecoin. And of course, Dogecoin's done well with Elon Musk, right? So people talked about this yesterday. I actually hadn't checked it up. So people mentioned that Elon Musk had posted the Dodge dog on Twitter. So we're going to look at that in a second. But that is up, it's actually pretty flat, but it's at 9.4 cents there. Did have a nice move. It's up 28.3% for the week, just because Elon Musk put a little dog on Twitter. That's how the power of tech companies, right? So there we are, folks. That's at number 9. So let's have a quick look at that, because here's Elon Musk. He posted this on the 4th. And he's got this, that's an old photo, and he's got a little Dogecoin dog. It's got little butterfly wings, is it? Sitting on it. And it's got a card here with Twitter on it, Twitter. And so that's from Elon Musk. He posted that 60 million views, 60 million, almost 61 million views on this. Some pretty crazy stuff. Bring on PulseChain, Pulse gains. So yeah, so you could easily see, I think, us getting millions of views on PulseChain when it launches. 60.1 on the old Elon there, 788,000 hearts there, and 90,000 retweets. Wow, and 28,000 comments. A lot of engagement. And if you look up the top left, there's the old dog coin there for Dogecoin up on the top left there. And of course, this is every crypto's dream, right? To get a big tech company using their crypto in some form or another. Obviously, that's not quite there yet. But that is what's helped the price to rally, and it's up 28.3% on the 7 days. Lido staked Ether is up as well, up 5% for the week, 3% for the day. And of course, the staked Lido, as you know, liquid staking, the biggest staker on Ethereum. And we'll have solutions like this on PulseChain, right? So it's going to be pretty cool. They got staked Ether. You put you can delegate to them, and of course they have different options, but you can delegate and get a return on that, but also on your ETH, but also get a return on the ST ETH as well. So it's kind of neat like that. So there's the top 10 on a coin, Paprika. They don't have here. They don't seem to have. Oh yeah, they do. They have a global market cap. 1,267 billion is their global market cap. That's up 1.4% for the 24 hours, and it's got Bitcoin dominance at 43% on their index or their listing site. So that's kind of cool. So that's Coin Paprika. I don't know if you guys, so for those that haven't used it and want to, move on from Coinomics, I'll post that in the chat there, so you can have a look at that. Bam, that is Coin Paprika site. What else? Who else has jumped into the chats? Let's see. I've got to get the sound effects in there. I'm going to work on sound effects, get a few sound effects in the house. If I can work that out, I'll do it. I think I've got some sounds, so I can do that. That's for sure. We got Pulse Bezos. Hey, good evening. Good to see you, Pulse Bezos. We got Bob Wells in the house there. Hey, gang. Good to see you, Bob Wells. What else there? We got Archipelago. Woohoo! Good to see Archipelago. Like the excitement. Let's jump through some of these. What else there? GetX says, have a magical day, everybody. We'll have to watch the replay. Currently shopping with the kids. Easter holidays. Nice one there, Nita. Enjoy your time. Hope you pick up some nice little gifts there. Pudding Guru says, playing golf, chill, and looking forward to MN. I'm not sure what that is, MN, but let me know. What else there? We got a couple other comments. DGen Hex in the house there. Love you, suit man. I appreciate that. Right back at you there, DGen. Thank you very much. And we've got Academiciated in the house there. Hello, suit man. Took me probably 6 months to get used to how to say that name, but great to see you in the chat. What else there? Let's jump into some more. We've got Christian Collin house there. Hello, Xkins. Good to see you, Christian. And of course, Brennan says about Dogecoin there on Twitter, 60 million views and only went up 28%. Yeah. Well, I guess there's a bit of volume in there, isn't it? What else there? We've got check my pulse. Along with Shanghai tokens will go into altcoins. A lot of Shanghai tokens will go into altcoins. A lot of these, like this one here, like Lido, they're all going to benefit right from the Shanghai fork. I'm in the bullish camp because I think, like I've said it many days in a row now, expect to see, we might get a little bit of selling there from people who have been stuck validating since 2020, December 2020. But I suspect that because you can withdraw now, it's going to allow big institutions and bigger money to put their ETH in there. So they'll take it off the market. Now, what does it mean for PulseChain? Well, in PulseChain's terms, if there's more ETH does go staking in the bullish scenario, that means there's less ETH to be transferred over to PulseChain in some ways. So we'll see how that plays out, though. That's not going to all happen overnight, but we'll see how that transfers. Remember, Ethereum, of course, is the most valuable here after Bitcoin, with a market cap of 9.7. Was it? Sorry, 800. And where's the market cap here? It's not there. Let me jump over here. 228 billion, 228.5 billion there. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, let's move on from CoinPaprika and Elon Musk. But that's pretty funny. We've got Richard Hart. We've got our own Elon Musk. We've got the Richard Hart there. And of course, Richard Hart is a champion for DeFi crypto. Not only that, but obviously building out how he's going to be doing that is he's going to be dominating that, of course, with his vertical integration of PulseChain, the first fork of Ethereum Proof of Stake with PulseX, the first, well, not first fork, but a fork of Uniswap V2 via PancakeSwap with a nice PulseX branding, and of course with an on-ramp, off-ramp, which may or may not be something he provides, maybe something like Coast team provides, and of course potentially a wallet, a Heart wallet that we're still expecting, and obviously we've got the Internet Money wallet that's going to be launching in a couple of months, and have launched its time and future tokens recently. So we're going to have a bit of opportunity there in the vertical integration, and that's pretty cool to see that. And so yeah, we're going to have a good time. All right, so there at PulseChain.com news, we got this yesterday. I did post a video on this, so I have covered this. You haven't seen it though. Let's go through these updates from Richard Hart. PulseChain.com news, peering is looking good. So as you know, a blockchain is made up of a lot of computers, and they typically can be nodes and or validators, and of course that's all around the world. So you got peer-to-peer computers peering up together for the blockchain, and if they're validators, they also validate the blocks and test the blocks and make sure the transactions and everything goes through. And it's the ledger on the blockchain, right? So that's pretty much that. So he's saying that the peering is looking good. So the network for PulseChain is looking good. And of course, we've been covering that day after day here, particularly since they did more archive nodes and did other adjustments. It's been operating very, very well. And we've been showing that on this channel. So that's looking good there. PulseX, he's moving to PulseX. He goes, PulseX has had lots of dependency updates. So pretty soon other features can be rolled out. And of course, we've looked at that as well. We haven't seen that. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Private test DevNet is testing the increased inflation. So we'll get more info on that in the future as well. So let's break this down a little bit here. Peering is looking good. So let's jump down to that topic just on the Pulse chain. And we know that we've got 4 consensus clients, right? So, sorry, 4 clients, 2 execution clients and 2 consensus clients. So let's get into the first update here, going into a bit deeper diver here. Did I just make that up? I don't know. Validators are using command line flags to make peering work well. When the boot nodes are updated, they won't need to do that. And of course, boot nodes will just help them to connect straight away there from the looks of it. And of course, each client has a different way of setting up their own ENR records. And I did post that definition of that in yesterday's videos. If you want to see that, you can see that and how they maintain them. So that is for the validators overline. But then now getting into the consensus clients, we've got Prism. ENR is ephemeral, changes on every restart. Totally okay and good for normal peers and validators, just not as a boot node. Lighthouse ENR is persistent. This is okay in all cases for boot nodes. Best to provide, he says. So moving on to the execution clients, Geth ENR is consistent. So records is persistent. Will generate if one is not provided. For boot nodes, best to provide. Aragon is persistent. Will generate if one is not provided. For boot nodes, best to provide there. So they all get running pretty well with the records. And what does he say here? So your peering is looking good, basically. So it's kind of cool on that one. And of course, what was else going to say about that? Yeah, and the boot nodes, when they're updated, they won't need to do that at all in terms of using the command line flags there. So that's pretty much for Valos. If you're doing that, you probably have a better sense of what that means. Getting into the final comment there says, also every client stores a history of ENRS they have communicated with, and we'll try communicating with them on restart there. So the nodes, peer-to-peer nodes, are working pretty well with the Pulse chain. So it's great news. All right, so let's get into some of let's deeper dive into that. So this is the updates from Richard. So the Pulse chain itself is going pretty well. as Richard's saying there. We've got 10.1 second block times. The transactions on the chain are looking pretty good, around 40,000. We've had 40,000 transactions here 3 days in a row now. So it's pretty cool. So 3rd of April was 39,931. So it's pretty cool. 10-second block time is pretty close to that. Total transactions have been rising, and of course, wallet addresses have been slowly rising as well. And remember, the Block Scout Explorer here that we're looking at is still indexing pre-blockchain fork data. So we expect that to end up being in the hundreds of millions there. I can't remember exactly the number for Ethereum, but it was like 200 million or so. So definitely still climbing there. The blocks, the latest block there is 16,773,876. And if you click onto the inside the block there, there's the blockchain in front of you with all those blocks. You can then break it down into the fees that are charged, like the priority fee tip there has little explanations as well. The miner reward as well is in there, so you can break all that stuff down. It's pretty cool. And remember, in the fees, there's a block reward, and then there's individual for individual transactions that pay fees for that. So that's sort of how the fees are done. And of course, if you're an individual transaction, you not only there's pretty much something like 90% of that fee get burned, but you also pay a tip to the validator as well, so to get your priority fee there, and you can see that in here. But here's the miner reward for the actual block itself. So pretty cool, and we know that's going to be about 25% less than on Ethereum, which is pretty neat there. Plus, we on top of that, we have the EIP 1559 per in there for the individual transaction. So that's sort of how that all sets up there. We did look at a diagram several days ago on that one. So this is the block there. Looking at the transactions, let's look at that. I'll always love to look at this because it gives you a sense of what's happening on the chain, even if it's only like just a snapshot look. But we've got a lot of PulseX happening there. What do we got today? PulseX, just looking through here. Lots of transactions. I'm just looking through there. A lot of contract call fails. Now, I'm not sure what that's to do with the whoever's testing something or whatever's going on there. What else there? Approve. We did see that they had increased the 20% gas room, right? So for max gas, so they had done that already. So I'm not sure if that's associated to these contract failures here. We'll move past all those. Let's go to page 2. Someone's trying to do something over and over and over again, and it looks like it's failing. What else there? Transactions. Let's jump through some of those. Not the best spot check when you have someone posting all those failed contract calls there. Let's go to the page 3. We'll try and get rid of these whatever these guys are doing. We've got some token minting, token transfers. We've got Zen minting still. Here's a new one here, CTSI. So I'm not sure what that is, but that is new, and it's kind of cool. What else? We're going through here, TPA. So we haven't seen that one. That looks kind of cool. Transferring some tokens, which is cool. PulseX liquidity provision, PLP ownership tokens there. It's kind of neat. So you can see all that with the PulseX LP. What else we got going on here? All those contract call fails. I don't know. They're dogging up the old transaction list there. So that's pretty much it on that. We'll jump through there because there's too many of those contract fail calls. So let's going to jump past that. We're going to have a look at some of the other stuff there briefly. If you want to look at all the Pulse coins that are up from the sacrifice and allocated, you can go through all here. Here's the PulseChain Teams wallet here, about 1% of Pulse, 1% of PulseX. You can see that there. We've got the sacrifice address. I think it's this. No, the AMM bot one is this one here, 5C9. And we've got other addresses around. We've got top Hex Godwell in here. I think I'm just trying to remember that one. Hex Godwell down here, I think. And of course, the Overwatch Rackham Shell is this one, I think. Double check, but it's one of those ones. So it's kind of cool. If you want to look at Pulse, all the tokens, all the actual tokens on the chain rather than the coin. I remember Pulse is used for the fee burning. Then you can look under the all button. That will give you all the tokens, the PRC20s, etc. And you can see all the stable coins at the top, Shiba Inu, Matic, all that sort of stuff, DAI stable, all the stuff that gets copied over, forked over. Remember, the fork for PulseChain Testnet V3 is the 26th of January. There's a block on that day, so that's how it works. So the actual one for the mainnet coming up is still to come up. And so if you've got assets on Ethereum, they will get copied over for the real mainnet. That's the one that you care about. That's the one that is the main game. And of course, you need to make sure that you don't have stuff on centralized exchanges or have stuff on other blockchains if you want to get all that value copied over. It's very important that you get your positioning right there. So we've got lots of ones in here. I was going to jump over to PulseX up here. It's up here somewhere. Has it slipped down the list? We've got Hex in here. Look, Hex. We've got PulseX here. So PulseX, 143 trillion PulseX with about 17 trillion in the public hands. So it's going to be interesting to see how the market valuations work on that. Also, remember when the buy and burn happens on PulseX, we're going to get probably some pretty juicy burning on that, particularly in the first 12 months, 18 months, subject to the price of PulseX, of course. But that's pretty cool. The more trading pairs we have activating on PulseX, the more buy and burn. So everyone's looking forward to this, right? Everyone's looking forward to see how this will work in reality. And I'm pretty optimistic we're going to get pretty high turnover. So yeah, it's going to be pretty fun to see that. We've got all the metrics. Yesterday, I talked all about that. I talked about the tokenomics that are going to be awesome on PulseChain, PulseX. I also talked about all the economic engines that Richard's set up to help this happen as well. And obviously a key one in there being the AMM bot and centralized ownership and the way the liquidity pools will be set up, pretty impressive. And of course, no expectations, but also a big giant war chest and DAI tokens of about 630 million, but no expectations on that one. So that's pretty cool. Excellent stuff there. So that is kind of the chain there. We got all the APIs with GraphicQL there. We just talked about Alex McFurter using that, and then we've got all the apps that you can jump to all the different apps like PulseX, the Beacon Explorer for validating, Pulse Ramp Bridge, the Sacrifice Checker, and Testnet V3 Faucet. So that's got everything in there. The tokens, the APIs like querying machines like GraphQL, and of course all the different apps that you can go and check out on PulseChain Testnet V3. So that's I'm just going through that for the people that are new to the PulseChain, wondering what's going on there. So that is where we are on the block scale. Moving to the second block explorer, which is really useful for validators. We can see that we're slowly climbing into validators. We've moved to 4,310. You can see the validators stepping up here over the day and adding more validators, which is pretty cool. So we're slowly creeping up. Obviously, we expect it to have tens of thousands eventually, maybe even get up to 100,000. We'll see. You need 32 million pulse per validator. So that's kind of the key there. On Ethereum, of course, it's 32 Ethereum, and we need 32 million pulse there to be a solo validator. But like I say, there will be a lot of delegating dApps and innovations happening, just like we see on Ethereum. It's going to be a bit of a boom town for that. We know how big TVL locked that is. We suspect that there'll be a big TVL project, area of crypto on PulseChain. It's going to be fun to see that play out. What else there? Activators, and it looks like Alex McFurter will be probably leading a fork of that too, one of the bigger protocols. Epochs at the moment, we're on 8,878 epochs. We've got 284,396 slots in there. Remember, every epoch has 32 slots. Every epoch, so 10-second block slot times. That's about 5 minutes and 33 seconds per epoch, which means we have more epochs than Ethereum, which is running over 6 minutes per epoch because they've got 12-second block times for each slot. Each slot may or may not have a block, but they typically do, and we can see that it's running really smoothly. So as Richard said, the computer peers around the world all peering together, working pretty well, and the blockchain itself is humming along pretty well for the most part there. So it's pretty cool. Now, let us see. We've got Hodl Dog, one of the biggest YouTubers in the Hex and PulseChain space. I think he's number 2, is he? Behind number 2 behind Crypto Coffee. Used to be number 1, but of course took a big break. So he'd probably be number 1 if he hadn't taken a break, but he did. He has been setting up a validator here. It goes next. Excuse me. Next comes a block. PulseChain. He set up a validator himself. Look. So this does appear to be his validator 4309 from the looks of it. So he's got deposited here, pending. He was posting little pictures as he was setting up his validator, and then he's got active there. So he's active there. Nice. So he's got. I don't think he's got any. Has he done 4? Maybe he's done 4. So we're gonna have a quick look, and we're gonna have a nosy on him and have a look at his one. Let me have a look here. Just having a look through some of this. He's got his little pulse rewards in there as well. I think he's got 0.16. That was his first reward there. Let's give a little nosy at 4301. I think 4308. Sorry, I think we can find that. So no, just 4308. Let's type it in here. See whether that comes up. I should have clicked on that thing there. 4308. And let's click on that. Bam. Let's see. Is it going to bring it up? Yeah, nice. All right, so this is Hodl Dog. Yeah, we're hunting Hodl Dog. There we are. So Hodl Dog there, and it looks like he's up to 16.18 pulse there. What was he on here? 0.168. So that's kind of cool. What's this here? He's got 3 proposed blocks. So on this one here, it's sort of indicating they had no proposed blocks. So he had just set this up. So that's interesting. So it looks like it's been as valid as proposed 3 blocks now. And his test stations, yeah. So and this, when he just started, he had proposed no blocks. He had been proposing for no blocks. In other words, validated no blocks, but he had been in the committees. So there's 128 per slot in the committee, and so he had done 4 by this time. He'd been at a tester. So out of every 121 that confirm a block, one is the proposer, the validator, and then the other ones are all at testers there. 127 testers. So he did 4 times was he in a tester there, one of the slots, confirming the block. So that's pretty cool. But now he's been stepped up. So now he's actually been a validator 3 times for a block, and he's also attested 145 other slots. So that's pretty cool. Uptime there, he's missed 1. He missed 1 slot, 1 there missed. So it's pretty cool. He said, let me look at other validators. No slashings. Deposits made to the deposit contract 1. So we see that obviously you go to deposit your 32 million pulse there. So he's done that. You can see his deposit there. That's pretty cool. So that's Hodl Dog. That's Hodl Dog. So you can go and check out stuff if people publicly post it, and you can check that out. So it's just pretty neat there. All right. We've got other stuff in here too, charts. I'm not sure what that, we'll leave that there. ST stations are going to give us a breakdown. Looks like it's giving us a breakdown of possibly the stuff that he's done there. Yeah, it looks like these are the different ones he's actually done. So you can go through and have a look at those, I guess. That's pretty cool. You can go even deeper into his validating. So that is Hodl Dog. Big shout out to him. And we're seeing more big influencers do that, which is kind of neat. I think RH Max, David Feder, of course. Alex McFurder. I'm not sure he's on influencers. On Twitter he is, but not on YouTube. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Good to see that stuff happening, right? One step closer, he says, and now he's validating. So congratulations, very, very cool. So it's alive, and people are adding their own validators. So that's pretty neat there. What else? I think we're gonna have a quick look at the charts. Let's have a look at that. Let's go have a look down to performance here. We can see there's another way of viewing the slots. I kind of like this way because it sort of shows you there. We've got a lot of scheduled blocks there that haven't passed through, but generally it's pretty green. So not quite as good as the last couple of days, but definitely these scheduled blocks will probably all go green, is my guess. So nice. Is that all we're going to look at? The Gwei. Should we look at the Gwei? Let's do that. Let's see what the Gwei has been today. Gwei's been pretty good. So 1 or 2 Gwei. The current hour 4.4. So we're in an high hour at the moment, apparently. So that's kind of neat. It doesn't not over the average of the time, because at the moment it's down to 2 Gwei again. So it looks like the Pulse chain's operating pretty well. Now looking to PulseX, we've got no US dollars in here yet, so we're still waiting for US dollars to be able to bridge over and match up, sort of flow through the PulseX. But people are ratio trading, and we can see those swaps 29 seconds ago, 1 minute ago. People are doing transactions on here. PulseX, Sushi, PulseX, Pulse, so stuff like that. MKR. So people are doing stuff there. Hex, I've got some Hex there. People are adding liquidity. 34 seconds ago, 1 minute, 5 minutes ago. So people are playing on the testnet, and we can see some removes there as well. So it's kind of cool, but no US dollars yet, no stable coins bridged over. And of course, the bridge at the moment, if we go to the bridge, this Pulse Ramp, the official bridge. This is different from Portal X, which is that super DEX aggregator from Power City. Which is over 40 chains now. So this is where it's at. So we're still waiting, but as Richard said, we'll probably get some more features as well. We have exchange and liquidity, but we don't have limit orders on here. We don't have the DAO either. We have farms and pools, but we don't have the DAO, and probably a few other features as well. As Richard sort of indicated, they'll probably be turned on sooner than later. So we're still waiting for that, but maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, we'll see on that one. So that's kind of cool. That would be the last phase of the launch as well. Now moving to some bullish news. I talked about vertical integration. Richard Hart's got obviously the first fork of Ethereum. The fork of Uniswap V2. And of course, part of the vertical integration was having on-ramp, off-ramp, right? So if you had a closed system with PulseChain and Uniswap, PulseChain and PulseX, sorry, and then you have to open that up so funds can flow in and out. Then you need an on-ramp. Not only do you need bridges to on-ramp between crypto chains, but you also need, which we've got the official bridge, right? But you also need fiat on-ramps, so it can come from the fiat world and back and forth. So Coaster's been doing that so far. Fiat on-ramp update, we got one of these finally. This guy's a little bit behind on the time zone, which probably not difficult to expect given things that happened recently. But in any case, it does look like they're getting closer here. Fiat on-ramp update. Here's a sneak peek at our product development. It's nearly ready for launch, so they're getting pretty close. We just saw Power City launch their Portal X SuperDex cross-chain bridge, and now we've got potentially having the Fiat on-ramp as well. Does it look like it's coming together, everybody? I think it does, doesn't it? It's coming together. So we're going to get there, and it's going to be pretty glorious. And then it's going to be everyone has to get out and spread the word after that, right? So it's pretty neat. So here's a sneak peek of our product development. It's nearly ready for launch on Ethereum, and will support on-ramping direct to USDC or Hex, which is pretty cool. So they've added Hex in there. Then PulseChain when it's live. So they'll add obviously PulseChain when it's live, and they're going to have their own stablecoin, right? So not only do they bring a really cool simplified fiat on-ramp without the centralized custodial. They do still have the banking partners. So they've still got the banking partner side, which you need obviously, but they're getting there. And of course, they got this cool video about 1.5 minutes. I will play the video, but it's got a little sound effect. I didn't play the sound because it probably got copyright sound, so I didn't want to test that out. But let's watch the little video. Hopefully you guys can see that here. So let's play that. So that's pretty cool. So it looks like they've got a list there, Fiat on ramp. So you have to register your account, and then you have to get verified. Step 2, step 3, you then connect your wallet. Step 4, you then get your payment details that you're going to have in there, which is pretty cool. Step 5, there you have to connect your account, and then step 6, there you put your money, the amount you want, and they'll send it to your wallet pretty much. So it looks like 6 steps there. Looks pretty painless, really, doesn't it? So hopefully people don't have too many troubles there. There are 26,000 views on that, which is pretty cool. I'm going to add some more to that as well. So we're looking forward to that. A big part of the puzzle for the Pumper Mentors, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see that out. All right, so cool. So nice stuff happening in the Pulse chain. We're going to jump over to Hex. Before we do that, though, let's get into some of the comments. Very, very nice on that one. I probably should have posted the link for that, but we'll probably put that in the, if you've got Ben McCoast on Twitter, you should be able to find that in any case. Let's have a look here. We're going to jump into some more comments at the top. Check my pulse. Check my pulse says a lot of Shanghai tokens will go to altcoins. I think we talk about that. MN means the mainnet from Pudding Guru. All right, so that makes sense now. David Allen says, any update on why Nomics shut down? No, I haven't seen anything. Let us know in the chat if you've seen anything about why Nomics shut down. It's like their closing down statement basically said, yeah, they're really bad about it, but they're just closing down. I haven't heard anything. I did try to do a Google query into why, but didn't come up with anything that I saw in any way. So let us know if you have seen anything. Brennan says RH gets 500,000 views and Hex go up 7x. Says Brennan, that's true. That's true. It's got better leverage, isn't it? The old Hex. Bright Light Crypto says, do I keep getting shadow banned for something? What's up? Good to see Bright Light. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure who's doing that. Andrew Reynolds, good morning, everybody. One day closer to mainnet. FYI, did you know that Shanghai update is only 8 days away? Yeah. 8 days, 7 days, 8 days. Yeah. What if RH forked after Shanghai? Well, that's probably when I'm expecting him to fork, to be honest. I think there's a 10% chance that he could fork before that, at least the consensus side, and do all the bridge stuff later. He has talked about it in previous videos as we've played on this channel, but I'm still expecting the post Shanghai fork upgrade. But we'll see. We'll see. That might be more testing, right? Are you talking about actually will he do the upgrade, do fork with the upgrade? And no, well, he said it's optionality so far, so we'll see. I still think it's up in the air, that one. Hex Force 1 says, I just tweeted Richard Hart should buy Nomics and list crypto by completing products that would put Hex at #1 spot. Hex Force 1, I talked about that yesterday. I joked about Richard. Actually, maybe Nomics has been bought by Richard, but I don't know. He's not just going to pin Hex at the top, but it certainly would be good for PulseChain. That being said, of course, we are expecting Overwatch Rack and Michelle, one of his 4 products, is a coin listing site, so that's going to be up there. But I suggest we may very well see a listing site's, I think, been on Richard Hart's roadmap as well. I have got that somewhere here. I haven't opened it up for a while, a whole Richard Hart roadmap. But yeah, definitely that was on the list as well. Wouldn't be surprised. He also put an order out for centralized exchanges. Remember, he put a tweet out. Was it last year on that about exchange exchange? So we'll see what he's been doing with other parts of the ecosystem. It's gonna be fun to see. Smash the likes, says Wookie. Definitely smash the likes. Sandy Beach out there with the hearts. Nice. Andrew Reynolds says RH Nomics should list the BNB at 201. Yeah, apparently I like that. I like where you're heading with that, Andrew. That's funny. What else have we got? D-Hex in the house. What's up, Hexkins? Good to see D-Hex. Brian's in the house as well. What's up, folks? Made it. Good to see Brian. Woohoo! Let's see here. We've got Blobfish King says hi all. Nice one, Brian. Sorry, Blobfish King. Now, John Gibbons says, do you guys think DAI will have some value pre-bridge and or after the stables launch on Pulse? Well, the Sacrifice wallet's got majority DAI now. So go figure on that. Will the copies, if you're referring to the copies, we don't know, and no one knows how they'll get priced up. But DAI definitely bridged and stuff is worth the value of those tokens on the other side, right? So it's the bridged and stuff that's the valuable stuff. Now, it would be pretty controversial if Circle or anyone else like that turned off the bridged versions on the ETH chain. That'd be pretty controversial. I would doubt that it's going to happen. But the bridge stuff is where the value is expected to be. Or make a DAO in that case. So food for thought, but suggest that's going to stay intact is my guess. Will PulseX drop in price once mainnet goes live, says Paul. Well, people are, so if you're talking about ratio trading, a lot of people wanting to ratio trade PulseX for PulseChain because they miss PulseChain. So I still think that narrative is still going to play out. So will the ratio drop pretty fiercely? We'll see. On PulseX, it's on the proof of work testnet and the PulseChain, it's sort of kind of hovering around 3-to-1, isn't it? So we'll see what happens there. Testnet's just testnet, right? It's not real chain, but it has been interesting to see that it's sort of been operating around that ratio. Gets down to maybe 2.5 or goes higher, 3.5 to 1. PulseX to 1 Pulse. So we'll see. But like I said, there are big whales like DO1 that's sitting on hundreds of billions of PulseX. So they don't need to make a big X return to make a lot of money, right? Because they think about it, they've got volume. So that's where you're going to get your price dips. That's where you're going to get potential flash crashes. That's why I said you got to be careful on protocols like Earn Protocol. because of potential flash crashes, particularly at the beginning. So here's the difference with Liquidity. They launched like 5 years after Ethereum. They had so they've had the benefit of Ethereum already rising up and becoming, the smart chain, the top smart chain valuation there. And of course, that's really cool. So, but they still have price flash crashes on even Ethereum. I think the last one they recognized was 2017. But they missed out on a lot of the growth cycle, right? So a lot of the growth because the chain's already worth a lot of value. But they've only benefited more recently after Terra Luna and stuff falls down because anyone values quality protocols even more, right? So they've benefited from that. But on the positive side, so on the flipping side, liquid loans and particularly Earn protocol from PowerCity on the PulseX, they're going to get all the growth upside, right? Because they're starting at the beginning of chain rather than 5 years later. But on the other side of that, there's more chance for a flash crash because you do have some large whales that they only need to, maybe that they put in $15 million and they only need a 3x and they're willing to exit at 45 million, rather than wait for the price to go up 1,000x and they're worth billions, they just exit way earlier than that. So that's where you get your opportunities. So this is food for thought. You got to think about that's still possible in the chain. All right, so what else there? John Brennan's in the house there. Oh, the other thing I was going to say about that is don't forget that PulseChain launches. We've got the ratio trading. Presumably, if we get the bridge within 48 hours and we get the US dollars in there, then obviously it's going to change the type of trading we're getting people with US dollars. And then don't forget, 4 to 6 weeks later, we've got all these liquidity and DeFi forks, liquid loans, PowerCity, Fiat, Famous, likely to come on with the Teller oracles. And so we're going to have waves of valuation. But when you get to that that lending valuation, it ramps up over a period of time. We don't know what exactly that's going to be, but it's probably going to be decently strong out of the gate. Remember, Hex Godwell participated in the liquid loans for sure. I'm not sure what other ones they did, but they definitely played there. So you got that sort of play going on. So we'll see if some of the big money comes into to use those leverage platforms. So that's where you're going to get this waves of value creation on PulseChain. And you take that buyer demand plus with all the buyers coming in, and then you take the supply sinks as well. So supply going off into these protocols, so there's less supply around. Just reduces the propensity. Then that's going to be bullish as well. That being said, a big whale like the Wallet DO1, which I think is number 6 or 7 on the PulseX sacrifice list. If their plan is to exit on a 3x. Then that's where you might get some volatility in there. They may not just completely sell their portfolio. Maybe they sell parts of it. Maybe they just slowly DCA themselves out. Maybe they don't at all. Maybe they decide to, no, I'm going to go for bigger hexes so they stay in much longer. So maybe it's further down the track that we get some of that hardcore price volatility. But in any case, the opening days are going to be pretty volatile. But that buy and burn is going to kick in, right? So we've got supply sinks, buy and burn, leverage. See what I mean? It's pretty bullish. Plus, all the people come. Is it going to be 100 to 1, 1,000 to 1? It's going to be pretty incredible because only so many people sacrifice for PulseX. PulseChain is even better, right? So PulseChain now is even better from from that point of view, especially if you've got a lot of syncing, a lot of innovation around validating and delegating. That people value the layer 1 chain pretty severely. So it's going to be a fun battle for sure. All right, Brendan says, John, they have their own admin keys and could support value on PulseChain, but no guarantee. Paul says, I need to buy up ratio swap pulses. Yeah, that's why I said a lot of people, that narrative is still strong. I don't think it's as strong as it was, but it's still pretty strong that people want a ratio trade. But there's a elastic band, right? So as far as people ratio PulseX for Pulse, it's going to sort of come back, right? Because people will just go, well, this is too much of a deal. Some people will swap their Pulse for PulseX. So yeah, I don't want to say too much about that, but that's definitely plausible as well. Yeah, is there sound on the video? Yeah, they're on the coast one. There definitely was sound. So they're going to do KYC. I didn't see what the actual registration was, but they had a registration there. It's pretty simplified, I think, Kristen. They do have the banking partner, so that's probably where that kicks in. What else there? Yeah, there was no sound, but that's because I said there was going to be no sound when I played it. We know Pulse and PulseX will start at 0001. Is there any talk around what price liquid loans or Mintra will start at? Cheers. Well, there's the average stack price for those projects as well. They have their own average stack price. I'd have to bring out my spreadsheet to see what that looks like. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Hey, Brennan, good to see you. Woohoo! Just remember for liquid loans, 75% of it's not coming out. It's coming out over 2 years for the loan token. So only 25% or approximately is coming out at the beginning. That's liquid, because remember there was a 2-year profile for sacrificing. The Hex Godwell is out at 2 years, so the Hex Godwell's loan tokens aren't coming out for 2 years. You go figure. It's going to be pretty interesting, particularly if there's strong lending up front. If people take Pulse and put it on there and start ramping up, but that, people have to use good collateralization on there because of price issues. But it will be launching 4 to 6 weeks after the PulseChain launches, so hopefully be a little bit more stable. Great, I will swap out all my Hex. Thank you, says Paul. Well, with Hex, you're going to get a copy on the PulseChain. Hex is the one that's a proxy for Pulse coin at the moment. There's no Pulse coin, so just remember that. Take that into account. How much heads up is Richard going to give about the consensus chain? That's the other key, right? How much of a run up will you get pre-launch versus post-launch? Because obviously it'll be split post-launch, so it'll be a different environment. We'll see what Richard does with the gamification there. Brendan says, I've always said we could see flash crash at launch because the big wallet holders got X more than average stack rates. Yeah, so they got a lower average stack rate. And I think I had it at 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 4 zeros, 4. I'm sorry, let me think about that. So 3 zeros 1, but they got 4 zeros, 4 zeros 2. I think it is 4 zeros 2, something like that. I have to double check, but there's something like that. Brendan's in house there. They could sell the bonus X's at the start and hold their initial investment for the long run, possibly just speculation. Yeah. So we'll see their behavior. Like I said, a lot of them will be long-term holders, but then you do have those wild cards like DO1 that potentially could sell down quite a bit. So we'll see. All depends on liquidity available, that too. So there's only certain exit liquidity as well, although I always think that's going to be pretty decent for PulseChain, the big pools. Hex is probably going to be the most solid pool, right? Because we're sort of expecting, no expectations, but expecting EHEX and PHEX to be pretty maybe set up by the origin accounts, sacrifice accounts with pretty fat liquidity. So that may end up, Hex might end up being some sort of stable coin. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe not. I'm just kidding. But it's going to be pretty fun between the two chains. I expect both of them to do pretty well. Let's get into the Hex here. We've got Hex. At the moment, Hex is at, speaking of Hex, is at 7.826 here. So they're just chilling around, isn't it, in this range after the big 7.5x rally up to 12.73 cents. And now it's just sort of chilling in this range, 27.6 and let's say 8.2. Currently 7.8 at the moment on the hourly. Let's go to the Whalebot and see what's been happening there. We got 4.8 million Hex burned for 400 days. So that's kind of cool. We like that. Let's give that a heart. Staker app. Yeah, I didn't talk about Staker app. I want to talk about Staker app because that's coming up. So we'll talk about that in a second. What else there? 16 hours ago, 3.3 million Hex bought for $250,000. We like that. So we'll give that a heart too. What else there? 7 hours ago, 2.8 million Hex sold for 219. So we don't give that a heart because that's bad news. All right, so let's go. That's kind of where we are at the moment, and 7.8 cents on there. So let's have a quick look at the Hex. Let's go to Hex on the 4 hourly. Have a quick look at that. This is sort of the trader's view. It's just ticking along here, as we say, in this range. Nice consolidation, to be honest, I would say. Let's have a look on the RSI. RSI down at 45. So it's just chilling with homies. We could easily have a nice little run higher with the right news. Obviously, the news yesterday from Richard about the validating, that's not going to make the well, it's good news because the chain's peer-to-peer network's running really well, but it's not going to make the price probably do any jumps at this stage. The Shanghai fork is probably the bigger deal actually at the moment, coming up here, as you can see on the chart. So this is the daily. You can see we're just sitting in between the 50 EMA in orange and the 20 EMA in blue. So there's a short time frame here, and we're sitting in the middle right there at this stage. But the chart's looking pretty good. We also still got PulseChain coming up there. So look at the RSI. RSI is just chilling down at 48, 49. So plenty of room to move. We do get a nice another move up there in the old parabolics. Looking kind of cool. Let's get rid of the overlays quickly and have a look at our kind of a support level. No real change because we're in this trading moving sideways. Still, around 7.3 on the support side, and resistance around 8.5. So 8.6. Yeah, so we're still sitting in those kind of ranges. What else? Let's look at summary of 24 hours. We got price is up 0.5%, and we've had 218 buys, 58% buy trades, so 218. And we've had, in terms of volume, 50-50 split, it's saying here, but slightly more buying than selling. Just under $1 million there at the moment with the liquidity, sitting at $8.5 million US, which looks a bit better than yesterday. So that's kind of cool too. So that is that. Let's get into Staker app, because obviously you guys love Staker app. I love Staker app, and of course we're waiting for the V2. But hey, look, they said it's coming out pretty shortly. I haven't looked at this since I sent this around. So this was the kind of course 21 hours ago. V2 should be available for the first Android users within a few hours. Now I haven't checked that this morning. So if you're on Android, maybe check it. Maybe it's been gone through. Sometimes these platforms take a little while to get them up and running, particularly as a Mac. I think the App Store, I think it takes ages. As I mentioned previously, the app will be rolled out gradually over the next few days. Exciting. iOS often takes more time to deploy. We'll keep you updated. So it's had 30,000 views on that. Obviously, that's widely used amongst the Hex community. So very excited about V2. We're very excited about it. Waited for a long time. So it's going to be cool. Let's see what else. They got something else here. Staker app says, do not share your secret recovery phrase with anybody ever. So if you're setting up a wallet in there, keep the 24 words safe. So this is a sneak peek from the V2. Do not ever share your secret. So if you're setting up a wallet, so a smart wallet on their account, just don't put that in there as well. I guess I'm not sure on the V2 whether they have imported wallet. Maybe they do, but I typically just use the view only on Staker app with the wallet. So yeah, so you can just paste in your address. So presumably it's still got the same feature that we have in V1. So very excited about that. So let us know if you've actually downloaded that already on Android in the chat. We'll have a quick look at that. Brennan says 9.4 cents should get us out of the trading range for Hex, says Brennan. Yeah, and we could move up to there pretty quickly. Susie Q in the house there. Hi, wonderful Hex family. Lots of hugs and kisses from Susie Q. Welcome to the chat. We're at 57 minutes on the hour, so doing pretty well. So that is the Staker app there. Now, I haven't actually pulled up Hedron, haven't I? Let's pull up Hedron here. Now, as you guys know, Zen has been performing like a boss lately. And it's pretty much going in line with what I've been saying, right, in the past. So, like a boss, man. Like a boss. All right, so cool. It's going to be fun. All right, so what else there? We're going to go to Hedron. Let's see, Hedron V3 here. Yeah. Hedron here is down 2% on the 24 hours. 26 buy trades, 50%. The sell volume, though, 65% at 75K, over 41K. So still $1 million in liquidity pool. The RSI is at 48, and the buyers are still in control. So kind of cool, but there's no confirmed buyer trend. So there is a battle on coming up with the sellers. So the battle is coming, unless the buyers decide to say, no, we're up we go. So that's kind of cool. I haven't actually pulled up at the Icosa Pro platform, so let's do that too. I have to switch over to the Ethereum network. Let's have a look at the HSIs. So we've got 2,946 HSIs in the liquidation queue, not bought into the auction house yet. We've got 21 in the auction house. So lots of T-shares up for grabs, so you can go get yourself a nice deal. They've been pretty good deals, man, lately. Some have been insane. Some people have picked up some insane deals on here, like insane deals. 50 T-shares for a few thousand or something. It's crazy stuff. So there's been some real opportunities there. That is on the app.icosa.pro. Now you can also use this. Now there's no front end for like the go.hex site is not the front end's not working for PulseChain Testnet v3, but you can use app.icosa Pro for Testnet v3. I haven't done a stake on there, but you can do that. You can create a stake using app.icosa, put your stake in, put your length in and stuff like that, and test it out if you wanted to on the Testnet v3. I haven't gone through the process, but it does look like it's working for Testnet v3, which is pretty neat. Alex is onto it so fast with these things. All right, so that's kind of cool. And should we have a quick look at the? Let's have a quick look at Let's have a quick look at the Wattses. So Dev Huey. Let's go look for Dev Huey and have a look at the Wattses. He must have given us an update on that. Normally I have this pre-set up, but hey, not this time. Yeah, 11 Wattser MTs burned in the last 24 hours, 1,600 M points, and now 21,371 Wattses left. So it's kind of cool. Looks like it's got some competition on as well regarding his Hex Model Pro. If that's something of interest to you, check that out. So that's pretty much that on Hedron. Let's go to the Hex Daily Stats. We've got day 1,219 hot off the press. We always like to get paid on this channel, so enjoy. 4th of April 2023, the price is up 0.3% to 7.792 cents. The payout per T-share is 6.449. T-share price there, $2,085. Share rate is up 9.3 to 26,762. I must implore the fact that this is expected to be going up to 32,000 by the end of the year based on Hexfire's predictions. From Crispy Man. So yeah, that's going to be a dramatic shift there in the amount of T-shares issuance, which is going to be cool in many ways. But obviously earlier pays better. Getting your T-shares earlier pays better. Now, average mining length, 6.87 years, so long time. APY rate there, reward and earnings EAS penalties, 38.01% per year. Now that is obviously compounded and just for X only. Obviously the US valuation moves around. Liquidity in the pool has jumped from just under 100 million, sorry, to just under 105 million. We've got 5.5 million in USDC in the pool and 710 ETH in the pool. So that's really gone down there as well. Now, obviously, leading into PulseChain mainnet, people will be looking at the LP providing. And so keep an eye on that yourself if you want to sort of get maybe a leading indicator, possibly around the mainnet. Could see some dramatic changes in liquidity. We'll see. For the AMM bot in particular, that's what we're thinking about there. T-shares as well, up 12,700 is T-shares, so it's jumped quite a bit today, but 10,054,000. That used to be over 11 million. So being an owner of a T-share in Hex is becoming, slowly and surely more exclusive. But I think by the time we get into the beginning of next year, it's going to be significantly more exclusive to be in the club, despite growth potential from PulseChain and, of course, the highest stakes influence, whatever the impact that makes as well in terms of mass marketing in the sense of the documentary. So let's have a look at the lock percentage of coins. 9.61% of Hex is locked. Modest day of penalties today, 600,000. But the payout yield was pretty nice. It's always looking good up at that 65 million mark. Let's look at the growth in the numbers. We're up 106 liquid holders there on hex.com on Etherscan to 330,208. And our stakers are starting to go into positive territory after a couple of days down. We had all those T-shares coming out, so because it's the way it goes. We got 7 new miners up to 120,385, and total holders up 286 to 549,596. And as you guys know, I can't wait. Hopefully, we'll have a day in the future, not too far away, that will snapshot on 555. That would be fun. That'd be fun. All right, so that's day 1,219. We're on day 1,220. Our base payout is 6.415 Hex per T-share. Glorious. We love it. And it's only going to go up and to the right. So enjoy it. Get those T-shares. And, of course, if you want a 15-year T-shares, there's some good deals in the app.coza auction there with Hedron. So, and Hedron's come back a little bit, so it's even a little bit better. So that's the way it goes. All right, so that's kind of neat. Let us get out of there. We're going to have a quick look at the global stakes over the next 9 months, right through the end of the year. All the global T-shares that are mining at the moment. We have the front of the wave. We've got all these coming up. So we've got 2 low days in ahead of us. They're around about 145 million Hex each are coming out from the 5th and the 4th, 5th and the 6th of April. Then we have our bigger candles at the front there, getting up to this big one here on the 9th of April of 597 million. Typically, most of these just keep mining over periods of time, but the share rate's going up against them. So there's probably got to be some short behavior there. And, of course, maybe some of them may end up selling. We'll see how that goes too. But that is how we're looking during the year. We've got this candle here sitting on the 25th of July. This candle here sitting on the 3rd of September. That's 620 million Hex. And then, of course, we've got quite a bit of gap here between October into November. And of course, these ones up here will all, if they're restaking 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, they'll start to fill a few gaps in here. And then that's by the end of the year, we get into Christmas time. at the back end here. So that's kind of where the global T-shares are standing at the moment in terms of the next 9 months to the end of the year. All right, Hex at the moment, 7.874 cents. PulseChain is still ahead of us for mainnet. So people are getting excited about that. I'm excited. Line Wings in house. Hey, good to see you, Line Wings. Woo! I love the emojis there. Very, very good. How are we doing for time? 1 hour and 5 minutes. I think that's pretty good for the show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And of course, your host Superman in the house is about to leave the house. But we got our Discord. Discord is open. Get in there. We've got all the information and all the best communities to get in there. We're pretty close to 1,100 members as well. Someone was saying we have the most engaged, biggest Discord, I think, possibly. So I don't know if that's true, but definitely feels good for the Hex PulseChain community. And get in there. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's as good as any of these social platforms are as good as the people in them. People get in there and use them, then they're used. Used. It's a bit like PulseChain. People come on to PulseChain and use it, it will be used. That's just the way it goes. All right, jokes aside, let's get on. And of course, don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, of course, every day. We live and breathe the PulseChain and PulseX and Hex. It is the main game is on. So you haven't seen me cover so many other projects. The main game is on. Get your strategies in place. Get your tokens on the ETH chain. If you want to get them copied, we are getting closer. As you can see, testnet red 3 is up. The first fork of Ethereum proof of stake. The peers, node peers are working on the node on the network. The validator is operating pretty well. There's more validators coming, and I think it's going to be glorious. Glorious. All right, take care, everybody. We've got a couple more comments to read out, so I'll read those before I finish. I will try and get some intro exit videos. I'll try and set that up. Yeah, stay tuned. Sandy Beach says, thank you, Hex Token. Awesome show as always. I appreciate that, Sandy. If you haven't followed Sandy on Twitter, follow Sandy on Twitter, a rising star over there, an influencer. So a big shout out to Sandy. And Sandy posted some lovely pictures of her golden hair on our Discord. So you've got to check that out, right? So that's pretty special. Billy X in house there. Thanks, Superman. Maddie Raid or Funding Gym live now. Okay, so yeah, Maddie's got a show on. Funding Gym's got a show on. Check those out, folks, if you want more PulseChain and Hex content. Cheers, Bez. Brendan's in house there. Cheers, super. You're welcome. And Danu in house as well. Smiling. Very nice. All right, bye for now. Take care. Peace out.